questions that we can. If you have not yet, please make sure that you do sign in at bit.ly/GISD webinars. If you've been to one of our webinars before, then you know that we do a question and answer back channel. You post your questions there or in the chat, and Gina, amazing, is going to moderate the chat and answer any questions on the back channel that she can, and then she'll read them to me at the end, and I'll answer them just to make sure everybody's questions get answered. So the bit.ly for that is just bit.ly/webinar back channel. Capitalization does matter, so make sure that you've got the capital W and the capital B there. Just a little introduction. I am LaShaka Wesley Hosier. I'm the one-to-one at South Garland High School. Gina, you want to hop on and introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. I am the one-to-one coach from Garland High School. And today we're going to talk to you about Edpuzzle, because I know a lot of your curriculums are suggesting you use it. And it is really quite amazing. And now with some of the things that they're letting us do with it, interacting with different tools, I think you're going to really like it. So welcome.
Awesome. Okay. So what are we talking about today? Just a few things we're going to cover: how teachers get logged in, the various channels that you can find videos on, how to search for videos, how to edit any of the videos that you post, how to assign them directly through Edpuzzle or using Google Classroom. We're going to go over some tips, just things that teachers should know, and then we're going to try and troubleshoot some of the common problems that students have for you so that you have those answers. We will share this presentation, so ways to problem solve from Edpuzzle. Just make sure that all of these things are true. And again, we'll talk about this, or I'll talk about it as I go through Edpuzzle and kind of show you guys the website itself and what's happening. So I'm going to go to Edpuzzle and just show you guys what it looks like. So it's taking me to my Edpuzzle homepage because I've already created an account. If you have not created an account, you should do that using your Google. Okay, Edpuzzle, why are you not working? Let's just try a new. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you can see I am signed in here. It has my name, and it has tagged me, because I told it to, at South Garland High School. So when you log in and you create your account, it's going to ask you to add your district and your high school. And this is so you can see what other teachers at the school or across the district are doing. So if you look at my homepage, I can see others in my school. And here I can see Mr. Chua, who teaches science, Ms. Kainer, who teaches English. And then if I wanted to see any more from GISD, I can see the teachers that actively use this. And as you can tell, Mr. Chua and Ms. Kainer are on it. Okay, so logging in again is just a one-touch with Google. When you log in, it will take you to this screen. So I'm going to start down here in the bottom left over with popular channels. So Edpuzzle does have its own channel of videos, so to speak. You can filter those by subject, and it goes through most of the subjects that are taught at the high school level and middle school level, for that matter. So if I wanted to add a science video, okay, here are all of the ones that they have uploaded onto Edpuzzle, and these are from different teachers everywhere. Okay, they also have YouTube. So if you know that there's a video on YouTube that you like, you can search directly for the URL or the video here. And there are lots of videos. This one is, how to play Uno, telling time, every topic you could think of. It links directly with Khan Academy and does TED Talks, which is super awesome. And then my favorite down here is Crash Course. I know a lot of history teachers are using Crash Course because they do such an awesome job of explaining everything. So if you know there's a Crash Course video that you like, because they do have their own channel, you can look there. One of the other awesome things that Edpuzzle has is their curriculum. So I can go straight to the high school content. and this sorts it out by topic here, by subject area. So I'm going to go to economics and government. That's what I used to teach. And I'd like to do this for my personal finance unit. So then once I click on personal finance, it brings up several videos from Khan Academy here, but they're tied to the TEKS and standards. And so it's really easy to find curriculum based on your subject area. So now that I've found a video that I like, so let me find one that's not quite as boring, because I know not everyone is a lover of econ and government like I am. So we'll do electives. That sounds fun. And we'll do it for theater. Why not? Okay, so here I've got one over literature, and I'm going to do Shakespeare. Oh, Gina, I see you have a question. Go ahead.
Yes. So when you were logging in there, Miss Felton asked, if I did not show up, does that mean I did not tag you or did not add the correct info? And can she fix that?
Yes, you should be able to go back to your account, and it will ask you for your school. And then here you can change your school. And then my subject area is obviously other, because they didn't really have a tech or PD one for me. And then the LMS integration, we have Google Classroom, the learner management system. That's what LMS stands for. But it integrates with Google Classroom seamlessly. And I'm going to show you guys that. So you would just need to add your school here where it says school. And then under settings, you can change any of the other things as well. I'm actually going to default that to closed captions because I think it just helps the students. And then you can take yourself off of the Edpuzzle updates. And then here's just basic account information, my email address, my password. And then you can see I've got it connected to my Google One Touch. Okay, so content. All right, so I'm going to go back to curriculum. I'm going to find a video that I like. We're going to do it in electives. I'm going to do theater, in literature, and Shakespeare. Okay, so I'm going to go with sonnets because I really like sonnets. They're fun. Okay, so I've pulled up this video. Now, one of the things I do recommend is that you watch every video all the way through. These dots down here, these are going to be questions or notes or something for the students to do during the video. Now, this is a 6-minute video. It's not that long, but some of the econ videos, as you can imagine, 15, 20 minutes long. I might not want them to watch the entire 20-minute video. So Edpuzzle does give you the option to cut and shorten and just pick the really important parts that you want, so you're not overwhelming them with a lot of like dead time or space or information. Okay, so I can edit this video directly, or I can copy the video. If I like it as it is, if I think, wow, this is really great, and I like all these questions, and I can see at 18 seconds, they've got a multiple choice question. So the rhyme scheme is here, if I click on the 18-second mark, here's my multiple choice question. How many stanzas, lines in a stanza, and couplets are in a Shakespearean sonnet? And then if I want to, I can just click rewatch and it'll play that little bit of information when I'm supposed to be listening to again. And then I can answer that question. So I'm actually not going to answer the question, but you can do that if you wanted to. And so after you go through all of the questions and you say, wow, I really like this, I'm just going to do it as is, you can hit assign and it'll go from there. But I'm going to show you guys a couple other ways to edit videos before we talk about assigning them. So again, if you like it as is, hit assign and you're good from there. I'm actually going to copy this video. Okay, so now it says Edpuzzle copied it to my content. And then if I go back to the content page and click on my content, I can see I've got the 2 videos, one because I assigned it and then one because I copied it. Okay, so I'm going to click on this video and then I'm going to click edit. And now I can go through and say, okay, this video has obviously been cut, and I can shorten it or make it longer depending on how I'm feeling or what I want them to see. I can go in and be deleted. So I'm going to keep it as is, but in your case, if you wanted to and you were sure about it, then just click yes. So here I can see this note, and this note is actually a voiceover. So if I hit play,
you've probably figured this out already, but just in case, so the A's would need to rhyme together. The B's would need to be a different.
Okay, so that is obviously not my voice because I know nothing about Shakespearean sonnets. But you as a teacher can actually record a voiceover of yourself explaining things in your words to your students over the videos in Edpuzzle. So she left them a voiceover note. You could also just write a note. And as you can see, she's got a couple different notes in here, the lady who made this video. And then she's got another multiple choice question at 2 minutes and 35 seconds. And then she has an open-ended question at 6 minutes and 1 second. Or if I wanted to, I could add another note or another question or whatever. So here is a note, okay? And this little microphone right here, it's kind of hard to see, but this little microphone right here is where I would record my voiceover. And then they do have the function button along with superscripts and subscripts for math. I can include a link if there's something else like, hey, if you were having trouble understanding this, link to this other video or link to your notes or whatever to help the kids get that. Or I can embed an image. So if I know that I want my kids to solve the problem a specific way, or I want them to refer back to the notes, I can take a picture of my notes and put it in here as a note for the student, and they can do whatever. Or I can just say, keep going, you're doing great. Okay, because sometimes the kids need to know, like, yes, I know you're watching it, you're doing a good job, you've made it 2 minutes so far. Okay, so here's her voiceover note, and then there's another note that I typed. Okay, and then I can also add an open-ended question. So what do you think of the sonnet patterns? I don't even know if that's an accurate question, but there we go. Okay, so now it's saved and I'm good to go. So now I can cut the video. I can add questions here. So here you can see, here's her note at 19 seconds. And then here's my note that says, keep going, you're doing great. And then here's my open-ended question. And it's a little hard to see. Let me hide that. There we go. Here's my open-ended question for the students. Okay, so I can go in and add wherever I want questions every 30 seconds if I wanted to. But just make sure the students actually have time to listen to the information before you're asking them a question. And then, of course, voiceover. If I wanted to, I could record directly over this video. So instead of listening to him talk, my students could listen to me talk. So Edpuzzle does do something really awesome, and that it saves everything automatically. So even if my computer shuts down or I have to walk away and I forget and I close it or turn it off, everything that I've already done is going to be there. I can change the title of the video. So if I wanted to do this with my notes or my name so that I remember, like, hey, this is the one with my voice as opposed to the one with his voice, it's done. And then I'm going to hit finish. Okay, so now it's got all of my stuff in it. It's still the 6 minutes and 31 seconds because I didn't cut anything out. I can see that it's got, my name here and then all the to-do things, the open-ended question I've added, everything is there. Okay, so this is my content. And again, if I wanted to, I could find other versions of this video. So I can see this person has 10 questions. This one has 10. This one has 11. This one doesn't have any questions. This one has 8. So you don't necessarily have to do anything. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you like one that's already done, by all means, assign it. Okay, so once I hit finish, I double check that everything is good to go. From here, I'm going to assign my video. So I click on assign, and now you can see I have 2 Google Classroom classes, or I can share it publicly with my colleagues. So if I want to share this with my PLC team and have them check it out and post it in their Google Classrooms, I would send them this link, or I can embed this on a website or some other Blackboard, learning management system. You cannot embed it into Google Classroom. It will automatically create an assignment for you, but you can embed it on other LMSs. So if I have this here, right, and I say, oh man, I want to add it to my class, but I don't see my class here. Well, how do we add classes? We click Add New Class. So this gives me the option to create a class directly on Edpuzzle. So then I would just fill out this form, have it do what I want, or I can import a class. So now if I click Google Classroom, now yesterday when I did this, because I was playing with it, it's going to ask you for permissions. If you've never imported classes before, it's going to make you sign in using your GISD credentials so that it can pull your Google Classroom classes and you're giving it permission to kind of talk to Google Classroom on your behalf. Allow all of those things, okay? But since I've already done that, I know that I want to add my Pear Deck PD class as well. So then I'm just going to put import classes. And as you can see, the ones that I've already imported are there. So I don't have to worry about importing them 3 or 4 times. It's going to tell me which classes are there and which classes aren't. So we're going to let the dancing dots do their thing. While it's thinking, does anyone have any questions that I can answer? No? Okay. It's pretty self-explanatory up until this point. It is going to take a little bit of time. There's only 2 students in my Pear Deck PD class, but assume that it imported your classes, okay? So, oh no, that's not what I want to do. I want to click on Assign. Finish. Assign. Okay, so there it is. There's my Pear Deck PD class, my Impact Team class, and my Test Student class. So I would like to assign this to my Test Student class and my Pear Deck PD class, okay? I want them to be able to start on it today. And because today is Wednesday and we're giving our assignments weeks at a time, I'm going to give them 1 week to work on the assignment. So there, I've saved it. Okay, now I have prevented skipping. So that means the students cannot just go to the end of the video. They literally have to watch it and answer it, which is why that meme was so funny. I've turned on closed captions for them, which again, this is really just to benefit the students. I think even as an English native speaker, reading it and listening to it helps you kind of remember. So for all of our ELLs, this will only benefit them. And then here, I'm going to allow it to post to Google Classroom. And I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. So when I hit assign, okay, it's thinking. And here we go. So you can see in my one and only Test Student class, I have 1 student, that's my daughter. So I want to go to Google Classroom and see what it looks like, okay? So just to show you how it comes across for the students, I'm gonna open Google Classroom. I'm gonna go to my Test Student class with my 1 child, okay? So now it says here, Loshaka Wesley Hosier posted a new assignment via Edpuzzle. So when you click on the assignment, it's going to take me to her work, okay? But here's what it looks like for the students. Edpuzzle, Shakespearean Sonnets, it's worth 100 points, okay? They're going to click the video, and then it's going to ask them to log in through Edpuzzle if they haven't already, and it's going to play for her and pop up so she can answer the questions. Okay, so now I can see, and if you had more students than just 1, okay, you would see the student's name, and it would tell you how much of the video they've actually watched, if you've graded it, what their grade is, when they last watched it, and if they turned it in. And then if I wanted to, I could reset the progress. And I had her do one yesterday, so I'm going to show you what it looks like when they're actually done as well. And then I can see, based on her thing, okay, now I only have 1 here, but if you had a class of 30, right now it would say 0 out of 30, right? It's going to give you an overview of how many students have gotten your questions correct. So you can kind of see if there's a concept you've missed or what's happening, what's going on, okay? Here I can download grades into a spreadsheet if I wanted to, and I could include the questions and the response. That would be a lot. but you could. And then I can click export grades to LMS. So if this was graded here and I click that button, magically the grades would appear in Google Classroom. So let me go to my classes. Okay, so here you can see I've got one that's graded and completed in this class. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like on the other end. So here, Isabella turned in, she watched 100% of the video. Here's her grade, 100 out of 100. She last watched it April 13th, and she turned it in on time. And then if I go to the questions, I can see here, why can trade be difficult? She got it right, okay? Now, I had her yesterday, I just put in a comma just so I could grade it. But I would be able to see a list of the correct answers by clicking on the question. Okay, so let me go to my grade books. I can show you guys what that looks like. So here in my test student class, I can see her total score out of 100 and her total time spent. And it's thinking. She's the only one that has any assignments, but it'll pop up and tell me, you know, she made 100 on this assignment or a 50 on this assignment or a 0 on that assignment, assuming Edpuzzle gets its life together. Let's try and refresh. Because there should be little, oh, there we go. Okay, so here's her total score. Here's the Shakespearean sonnets that I just assigned. Okay, here's the money and finance. Here's the math, and this little, the icons mean different things. So here's her project. I'm going to talk about what those are. And then here I just did how to turn on Guardian summaries as a video, just to make sure that I could upload my own video. And she didn't answer any of those questions because I told her not to. So here you can see it will calculate the grade for you, and that she spent a total time of 11 minutes on the videos. But you would see this for literally all of your students within each class, and you can pick the classes that you want. So here's my impact team. I haven't given them any assignments yet, so they don't have anything. Same thing with my Pear Deck PD class. They don't have any assignments, okay? Going back to content. If there is a video that you have recorded of yourself that you would like to upload so that you can add questions to that, you can just go to add content. You can create a new video, you can upload a video, you can assign a student project. So to upload a video, you're just going to upload it. Literally just choose your file and go. So the only video I had, oh, well, there's my Google Classroom webinar. So I'll just put that in there, hit open, okay? And now this is a longer video. So it is gonna tell you when it's done uploading. If you've got something over, you know, 5 or 6 minutes of video time, you wanna make sure that you are uploading it 2 or 3 days before you want the kids to work on it, because it is gonna take a while, and then you have to go in and add the questions. So make sure you give yourself some time to fix the video before you try and assign it. I wouldn't recommend doing it on the same day, just because uploading files can take a while, okay? So I'm gonna go back to content, let that do what it's doing. Oh, yes. You can upload videos to YouTube that you've created in Screencastify or from your computer, and then just do the YouTube URL as a workaround. But if you wanted to pull it directly from your computer, you could do that too. Is there a way to load a Screencastify from Drive? No, you would have to upload the video to YouTube, which in Screencastify, there is a button to put it directly on YouTube, and then pull it from YouTube to get it onto Edpuzzle. Okay, so there's all of this, okay? So let's talk about student projects. So the student project, and I had Isabella do one yesterday just because I was unsure of what it was, okay? This is where they actually get to create a video and questions, and then you can either share it with the class or you can watch it. So if you want to talk about the power of student creation to make sure they truly understand a concept, this would be it. So let's talk about Google Tools is my subject. Okay, the goal of the project is to verify student expertise on a Google tool. And then the instructions, pick one Google tool and create or find a video and add 5 questions and 2 notes. Questions must be multiple choice. Okay, so then I'm going to save the project. So now I've got my student project. And if I go down, you can see I've got the difference between videos and projects. So if I click on Google Tools, it will give me the option to assign it. And you would assign this the same way that you assigned a regular video. So I'm going to put it in the student classroom. I'm going to post it on Google Classroom, and then I'm going to hit assign. Okay, so now I can see what they've done here. Here's my goal. Here's my instructions. Okay. If I go back to my test student class, my stream was updated. Here we go. I posted a new assignment via Edpuzzle. Here's my Google Tools. So here are the instructions for them. And then they're going to log into Edpuzzle, find a video, and they would do the same thing you would do. And then when they submit it, you would be the only one to be able to see the questions. So it actually walks them through the process of creating questions, adding the correct answer, because when you type them in, it's going to default to A being the correct answer every time. So you want to make sure that they pick the correct answer. And the same applies to you. When you type the answer choices in for multiple choice, it will default to A being correct every time. If that is not the correct answer, you need to change that. Okay? And it gives you the same options to share the assignment, export, download, or delete. So let me show you guys how to edit questions so you can kind of see what I was talking about. Here's the mushroom one I did yesterday with my voiceover, which was kind of funny. All right, so here is my editing. Here's my voiceover. What even are these mushrooms? Look at them. They're growing weird. I don't like it. Okay, so from the first second to 9 seconds, it's me talking about these mushrooms, which, what even are these mushrooms? Look at them. Okay, so when they play the video, they're actually going to hear your voice saying whatever it is. So make sure that you are actually giving them content. I was just testing it yesterday with this video about mushrooms. But now let's see. I add this multiple choice question. Okay, so here it defaults to A being correct, and it's only going to give you 2 choices. I would like to add, you can add up to 5 if you want, which I would always do since I was teaching AP. Okay, 5 answer choices, just like the test. So what color is the mushroom? Right, so now if I wanted to, I can upload an image, use a URL for an image. I can import functions, which, I mean, that's some math stuff. I don't even know. But math people, you can figure it out. Here's all your fun equation tools. Here's all your things. So if I wanted to do A over B, I don't even know how to do the math tool, so I'm not going to pretend. But you math people, I trust you. I know you got it. Okay. I can do a subscript or a superscript. So here I've got x to the 4th, assuming it'll look the same way for them that it does for me. C4 to the 5th. There we go. How fun is that? So then I'm going to do white. I'm going to put in blue, and I'm going to put in red, and then finally green. Okay, so now you can see the correct answer defaults to A. So I'm going to change that and make that incorrect, but I do need to do a correct answer because as long as they're multiple choice, the Edpuzzle will actually grade them for you, which is another amazing function of Edpuzzle, the self-grading feature. So if you do have an open-ended question, it will grade all of the multiple choice questions and give the students a potential grade based on, their multiple choice questions. And then once you go in and update the open-ended questions as correct or incorrect, then it will let the students know. Okay, so look, these will be graded automatically. Yay. Okay, and then you can even include feedback. So, and I checked this with Isabella again yesterday too, just to see what it would look like. So here's my feedback. Why would a mushroom color be a fraction? Okay. So if they're typing in exponents or fractions or whatever, you could put whatever feedback you wanted, and then you switch it back to the question. So now, because I've typed feedback in here, this turns blue. So I know that I actually have feedback. Okay. So I'm going to save that. Saving. So now it tells me, here are my answer choices in the black. Here's my correct answer with the green arrow. And then here's my feedback for this first one. And if you wanted to do feedback for every question, you totally could. And then I can edit the question or I can save it. So I'm going to hit continue.
Growing. Weird. I don't like it.
And then as it continues, oh, look, it seamlessly switched from my voice to the video.
Biological material that's a waste product in our civilization.
Okay, so now I can add an open-ended question. Why are waste products important? Okay, and then I hit save. And I can go through and add as many questions as I want to. Okay, and then finish. Cool. So downloading. Okay. A couple of things that we need to talk about. Some of the students in your Google Classroom, because ours are synced with Skyward. Now, we shouldn't be getting any new students currently, but for whatever reason, if your classes are changing, like you've got new people or old people or whatever. Okay, here I can see 0 of 2 turned in. For students, if I look at this list and I think, wow, I have more than one student in that class, I should probably have like 3 or 4 listed in a dream world, right? I can click import students. So that's going to double check with Google Classroom to make sure that I don't have any missing students or that my students don't need to be updated. Like if I see this name and go, hey, Isabella's not in this class anymore, okay? I can remove her from the class if I wanted to, but the easiest option is to just click import students, and then Google Classroom and Edpuzzle will update your list and make sure that you have the correct people in the correct class. If you have a link that goes out to your specific Google Classroom, okay, so I posted this in my test student class. I cannot take this link and put it in another Google Classroom class. Okay, when I want to assign my videos, I can pick multiple classes and it will create all of that behind the scenes work for me. But if I assign it for one class and think, oh, I really need to do that for this other class too, do not go through Google Classroom to do that. The link will not work for those students. Okay, you need to go through Edpuzzle to do it. So see how it brings up Manage Edpuzzle, and then these are all of the permissions that I've shared with my Google account. Okay. Do not go through Google Classroom. The link will not work, and then you'll have your students getting all kinds of frustrated because they can't watch the video for you. On Google Classroom, there is not going to be a submit button. There's going to be just like a mark as done. Okay, so there's nothing for them to turn in from the Edpuzzle side. It automatically submits in Edpuzzle when they click submit through Edpuzzle. Google Classroom, they're just going to mark as done. And then you can go in and see if they've done it or haven't done it or what the options are, disconnect. Okay, so here on the Edpuzzle Math Project and Edpuzzle Money, here are my grades. And then I have not returned this to her. So currently it's just a draft. But you can see the Edpuzzle assignments that I've posted through Edpuzzle automatically go into this gradebook, and then the grades are automatically transferred when I click export to LMS. Okay, and then the only thing that Edpuzzle does not do is add it to a topic. So if I had topics, okay, here, see how it says no topic? If I had topics in this classroom, I would want to make sure that I put, all of the Edpuzzle videos together, or maybe everything for my Shakespeare unit is together. I would want to make sure that I used those topics to kind of help sort. Okay, I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. Does anyone have any questions about Edpuzzle, integration with Google Classroom, how to find anything? Now's the time. Anybody? Gina, are there any questions?
No, I kind of have been fielding them as they go through and
Okay.
answer. Mr. Hawkins asked, is there a limit to video length?
There is not, but remember, your students are going to sit and watch, and if you prevent skipping, they are going to have to watch the whole video before they submit it. So you don't want to do anything that's going to be longer than your student's attention span. The questions are going to help keep them on task, but I personally wouldn't do anything than 10 or 15 minutes, depending on the level of student.
And remember, and maybe Lashaka, you might have the answer to this question. What is the, does Edpuzzle have a limit on how many videos you can upload? Because I know Edpuzzle really encourages you to get the videos from YouTube, to kind of use YouTube as your storage bank.
Correct. Because if you're doing the links, it will save the space. I think the space changes depending on what account you have. But as long as you're utilizing YouTube or videos that are in their bank, there's no way you should go over that limit.
Okay. So Ms. Grund is asking, so to clarify, students must turn in and teachers still need to return their grades for students to see their grade.
Correct. Now, if the student doesn't turn in through Google Classroom, you can still click the return button and it'll give you a little warning that says some of these students haven't turned the assignment in. And that's okay if you're just giving them the grade back because you know you have their work on Edpuzzle. But I always got my students in the habit of clicking turn in or submit just so that they didn't say, well, I did it, but I never turned it in. On our other assignments, just as like a good habit to say, okay, it's done, mark it as done, so it doesn't pop up on your calendar or on your to-do list anymore because you finished it.
Okay. A little bit of troubleshooting. I've had teachers ask where they have assigned it via Google Classroom and some of their students can't get to the puzzles. So then on the student end, it asks for a code. What should we do in that situation?
So if you continually have the students asking for codes, one of the quickest shortcuts is if they're on a mobile device, make sure that they have the Edpuzzle app downloaded. They don't necessarily need to go through the app to do the assignment, but they do need to have the app downloaded. Another thing is you can bypass Google Classroom entirely and create the classes in Edpuzzle and have them log into Edpuzzle, and the videos will populate there for them without a necessary code. And again, clicking that import students button is going to update your list of students through the Google Classroom kind of sync that Edpuzzle does, and that'll help cut out on students not getting it.
Perfect.
Sweet. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen.
Okay, I think we answered all the questions.
Sweet.
So if that is everything, oh, please repeat, students need to download an app.
Yes. If they're doing it on their iPad or on their phone, there is an Edpuzzle app. The app is not necessarily where they will go to complete the assignment. They're still going to go through your Google Classroom and access it that way. But the app kind of eases the difficulty between Google Classroom and Edpuzzle having their back channel conversations.
Okay, if you guys don't have any more questions, or if you have a question, maybe later you think of it, you're working on Edpuzzle, please refer back to this bit.ly. Just remember bit.ly/webinar, capital W, back channel, capital B, and we check this frequently. We'll be happy to answer your question, or really at this point, any question. We'll be happy to answer it, and we will send you an email. Response. So, we're here for you guys. And if you want to learn a little bit more about using Google Drive, we're going to be doing another webinar at the same Google Meet code on Thursday at 1 p.m.
Yes. So tomorrow at 1. And then again, if you haven't signed in, just make sure you sign in. I'm not sure how the district is going to track all of the PDs that's being offered and who's attending, but we'd rather have the documentation and make sure you guys get credit for attending than not.
Okay. We'll hang out here for a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, if anybody wants to turn on their mic and ask a question. We'll be here for you.
Chuck, how do you sign in so that they'll know?
How do we sign into what?
This
for the webinar, you're going to go to this bit.ly that's on my screen here, bit.ly/GISD webinars. And then we'll have a record of how long it was and what the topic was and that you attended.
Okay, so y'all have that because I signed in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I have another stupid question.
No questions are stupid, Mickey.
For me, they are.
Nope.
I did get a new student today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, what do I invited him, but it says he's invited, but does he have to go in and do something to officially join the Google Classroom?
Are you using the classrooms created by the district?
Yes.
Okay. Then the Google Classroom Skyward Sync happens every night at like 2:30 in the morning. So if you got the new student today, let it sync tonight, and then he should automatically be